This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed musician and producer, Aleksander of SYNTHMOSPHERIA. But before we get to our interview, here's a sneak peek at Aleksander's amazing talent. Well, hello, Aleksander. How are you?
Hi, Will. Very well, thanks. And yourself? It's great to finally meet you.
I know. Great to finally meet you, my friend. I want to know, Al, first and foremost, what was the impetus behind creating SYNTHMOSPHERIA?
Excellent question, Will. So after school, I studied sound engineering for 2 years, and I specialized in music production. So first and foremost, I'm a musician, and then secondly, I'm a composer. So my vision was always to combine composition and music production into one. And so that's been my goal and vision since about 2010. So going on about 10 years now. So SYNTHMOSPHERIA is my passion project. It's mostly myself. I will bring in extra musicians, but I try to keep it self-sufficient, self-reliant. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And and especially in a time like now, when I think a lot of artists realize during these past 18, almost to 2 years of being in quarantine, how amazing what amazing work we're able to do as artists without having to rely maybe so much on others. And I'm just curious to know with you,
Absolutely.
Al, if what is it about this fusion of piano, drums, bass, strings, synthesizers to create this cinematic musical landscape? It excites you most?
Well, that's a great question. So I've always been a huge fan of film music, cinematic music, in the traditional sense with an orchestra, piano. The biggest impetus really was a group called Cinematic Orchestra. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They're quite a popular group. I think they're originally from the UK.
Okay.
But they were a huge inspiration behind SYNTHMOSPHERIA in terms of the orchestration with piano and strings and that kind of thing. And then my other biggest inspiration was M83 or M83. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. So they use synthesizers. It's very like kind of synth wave. I love so many different kinds of music. So I think in the first 3 to 5 years, it was difficult to settle on one sound.
Right.
You know, so there was a lot of experimentation. There's a lot of like, I want to do this, but I don't want to do that. So like in the beginning, it was very kind of jumbled up until I found a sound that I kind of settled on. And that just happened to be the cinematic type of...
Well, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I could see it in big concert halls with full symphonies, with multiple visuals and screens, with dancers and actors. I'm a director, so when I close my eyes and listen to your stuff, I literally saw almost like a 4-dimensional presentation that could happen with all of it. I mean, multi-disciplines. I could see musicians, dancers, singers, actors. I mean, is that something that you also see?
Absolutely. I mean, you got it spot on, really. And I guess that is ultimately the dream or the vision. But as I'm sure you're well aware, throwing a production of that scale is rather costly and can only be done once you have some kind of significant following. So some of the artists that I mentioned have done something along those lines. Especially another group called Air from France. They did a huge production in this like abstract hall with like art and visuals and dancers and kind of along the lines of what you're talking about. So I think that's always been the goal. Part
But
of
I
the
could also,
challenge is. Mhm.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So I mean, part of the challenge is when you're kind of like a one-man orchestra,
I know.
writing like, you know, for 20 different musicians, and now you want to go perform, and you're like, well, if I'm just one guy standing there and it's like this whole orchestra behind me, it's going to be like, well, what's going on? So in order to actually perform any of my music, I'd have to get quite a lot of musicians, and it'll have to be quite a huge production, really. So.
You know, on top of that too, Alexander, I'm so excited that you're joining FENIX because you're going to be now within a community of artists. We talked offline. I'm so grateful I've gotten to speak
Yeah,
over 800, but there are so many
crazy.
musicians and
Mm-hmm.
producers, and I'm a director. There are other
Yeah.
directors, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so excited that there are going to be now people within the artistic community, the world artistic community. I mean, here you are in South Africa. I'm in New York. I've
Right.
spoken with artists in Japan, Singapore, Australia, London, the States, obviously. So I'm just
Mm.
excited for you to be able to expand your brand within a safe space of FENIX, of artists who are like-minded, you know, who just want to create and collaborate. And what is it about the opportunity for you to collaborate with other artists all over the world that excites you?
Well, I mean, it's something I've always wanted to do, and there's a program called Reaper. It's a free audio digital workstation, and they have this thing called Ninjam. And Ninjam basically allows you to jam, well, in real time with anyone from around the world. So that was, I think, the first introduction, you know, especially during the COVID lockdown. I didn't even know such a thing existed, but I always wished, oh, I could just go and have a remote jam. And then somebody introduced me to Ninjam, and that's very much just like that. It's people jamming in real time from all around the world. So the goal always has been, yeah, to collaborate, and especially to do global collaborations. So that's definitely what excites me artistically.
Amazing, Al. Well, listen, I could speak with you forever, but I want to let our audience know for more on the amazing Al and his incredible SYNTHMOSPHERIA, you can read more about him right below this video. Al, I'm so happy you're joining FENIX, but also selfishly, I'm so happy that we are now connected.
I'm also so happy, and it's crazy. It was you can call it a chance encounter, although I don't believe in that there's such a thing as a coincidence. But it seemed like a complete chance encounter. I mean, I actually found an ad on LinkedIn. I was looking for other work, and then I saw Ashley Orr. Well, I've read it as Awe, but it's Ashley Orr. I saw her ad about this FENIX thing, and I was skeptical at first, and I couldn't believe like my luck. I feel like I kind of stumbled on something like, oh, and I saw the potential of how huge FENIX could be. So I think maybe ultimately it's destined to be, but I feel very fortunate to have come across this opportunity.
I love it, Al. Well, I can't wait to speak with you soon.